Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. Today, it's going to be a special video based on modern time events. As you may know, in this area of the world called Kashmir, which is mostly disputed between India and Pakistan, but a bit is also disputed by China, has been facing some conflicts recently. So I roughly drew the outline of Kashmir, and here's the historical explanation for it. Here's a map of the British Raj, a colonial entity controlled by the British Empire for around 200 years. After strong independence movements, the British Empire gave independence to all these entities. First, Burma, which is now called Myanmar, as well as Sri Lanka. And here's the complex part. They split British India, this area, into two parts. The mostly Hindu majority over here and the mostly Muslim majority over here. And then lied this part that both entities wanted for themselves, Kashmir. This area had a history of being affiliated with Pakistan before the British came, but they were given the option to choose to join India or Pakistan. They decided to join India, and so here it was. I mean, it's not perfectly drawn. It should have been a bit smaller, but it's okay. Then Pakistan said no objection, and a war struck, and three members played in this war: India, Pakistan, and the People's Republic of China. The People's Republic of China, I'm not sure if they claimed all of this for themselves or just all of this, but they ended up getting all of this. Then India got all of this, and Pakistan all of this. And then it stalemated, and after cooling tensions, which still existed, this is what the region ended up looking like. And that's why most maps, such as mine, have this as the border between India and Pakistan. And ever since Bangladesh got its independence from Pakistan, China kind of cooled off, and everyone mostly respects their claim. India doesn't dare go in, and Pakistan is an ally of China and recognizes this. This is Pakistan's land recognition as theirs. They agree that this part belongs to China, but the rest of Kashmir belongs to them. So the China issue is pretty much resolved. India is not gonna go and start a conflict with China. Plus, China also claims this area here and some of here, and India's north for I don't think there's a reason, but India is gonna let this one slide and not care about China's claim to Kashmir. So here's the deal. A terrorist attack happened in this area, in the Indian-controlled part. India says it was Pakistani terrorism happening in India's territory. Pakistan denied the allegations, and India has done something they haven't done in years. As you can see here on Apple Maps, you have multiple rivers over here, and I'm not going to dive into this specific information about the river, but India has threatened to cut Pakistan access from the rivers, some of them, and Pakistan said that they were going to retaliate strongly if that happened. So what if both countries went to war? Let's get into this. India ends up cutting the Pakistani access to the water, and Pakistan gets really mad. They have a national referendum, and it is decided that they will declare war on India. India has been preparing for a very long time, and their military is ready to go for this. Pakistan have long been training for this and gather a lot of troops to go in this Kashmir area of India. They then catch India by surprise by invading this northern area and going through very complicated and difficult to access and dangerous areas of India. After pushing equally along all of these lines, they join the area where the terrorist attack happened, and a big celebration happens over there. More Pakistani troops cross the border, and they do not get out of the Kashmir zone. India, though, comes after a different approach. They are going to capture the Pakistani capital of Islamabad and make them regret ever attacking India. They decide on the best plan, and it is decided that they will do this. And eventually, if they can't pass through Kashmir, which they won't focus on at the moment, they will do this. And if this line ever gets threatened, either they do something else, such as this, or they fight for it. But their intention is to not lose many soldiers. After a couple weeks of waiting this one out, they start their great offensive. Indian troops start getting thick over here in this area and start pushing up into Islamabad. Pakistani troops realize what's going on right now, and they're gonna cut India's troops off from each other and surround them to death. And so this is what they do, pushing the Indians into this thinner area. The Indians, though, aren't stupid and counter that. And trying to counter the other, they lose many soldiers over here, which get encircled and killed. But the soldiers over here in this area that are surrounded by Indians inside of Pakistan will slowly die, and Pakistan also lose a great amount of soldiers. Pakistani troops go on with their Kashmir operation in the north, but they go a bit slower than they did before. Some troops come in from over here and nobody knows what's going on, but I think we all know what's happening over here. Reacting to what's going on as random troops come out of China inside of India, the United States of America decide to act fast. After our great president Donald Trump announces that he will be retaliating if China has anything to do with this, and he is planning to declare war on China. China says that big things are gonna happen if they do it, so the United States just slow down and don't immediately join the India team. Although they're going to be big supporters of the faction and send big amounts of help to India. After China see this, it's going to be a bit of a US-China proxy. They're going to do the same for the great ally of Pakistan, and here we go. The United States do what they do best. Throughout the years, they are going to bomb Pakistan as hard as they can. And they bombed and they bombed and they bombed and they bombed a lot of Pakistan, with thousands and thousands of bombs falling into the capital of Islamabad and around it. After all these bombing campaigns, China notices and says, "Do you want us to bomb India?" And India politely asks the United States to stop the bombing campaign and to try to do something else. They work this out together, and Trump doesn't refer to the Prime Minister of India the same way he's referring to Zelensky, if you know what I mean. Because this is Trump versus Xi Jinping, because India could win this alone against Pakistan, but this would cost a lot. But they don't tell India, like, yeah, you're in a good situation, you should be grateful. They tell India how they'll win this together and how they're great allies. Something Trump isn't used to doing. Anyways, something is also gonna happen over here. China are gonna mark their territory over here in northern India, and they're gonna like do their best. And so here is what they have. India are mad, but they don't want to interfere with China, and they're gonna continue their offensive over here, going straight to Islamabad. And the Pakistanis realize what's going on. India is going straight to their capital, and they're doing it really well. Troops are moving directly over north to Islamabad, and despite Pakistan's struggles to stopping this, India still do a really good job, and you can see how much effort and commitment and structure they have put to this campaign. Next thing the US is going to do is send billions of US dollars to India as military aid. Billions. And India accept it gratefully and use it to work their military equipment better, getting extremely close, maybe too close for Pakistan, to Islamabad. And after Xi Jinping notices that, the People's Republic of China sends hundreds of billions of dollars over to Pakistan, and the US is forced to keep up, but they're not gonna do more than China gave Pakistan, because they don't want China to raise the bar even higher. So they keep it at like maybe Pakistan gets given $200 billion. India gets like 150, but not more than that because they don't want China to raise the bar and give more because yeah. Anyways, let's just say the tariffs to Pakistan are like 300%. And China too. Something big is happening, huh? Next, thanks to all that money China gave them, Pakistan managed to pull off a big counteroffensive and managed to surround thousands and hundreds of thousands of Indian men over here. And they starve them to death. So they get radically smaller and smaller. India complained to the US. They say everything you've done for me has resulted in a fail. The bombing campaign almost got China to bomb me. The money you gave me got China to give Pakistan a lot more, and I got so close, but they wiped out a lot of Indian men and we lost a lot of people. And then China says this thing: we are going to invade the Kashmir region because we claim it and it is ours. Yeah, they say that. So the People's Republic of China go to Islamabad and something happens. A sudden declaration of war on Pakistan, which is really weird considering China and Pakistan are close allies. So what is it? It's peace war. That means two allies go to war with each other in order to preserve their peace with others, such as the US. And so Chinese troops invade all of this area, and they even do something like this. They're gonna go and step inside of Pakistani territory, and Pakistan is gonna allow it because China now claims all of Kashmir to themselves. And so something weird happens. So there's Pakistani troops coming out of nowhere to invade India, coming out of China to invade India, apparently, okay? So like they merge with themselves and they're actually besties, but they lie and say they're at war, and China will give this back to Pakistan. Of course, they need their compensation though. Anyways, India are like shocked. Chinese troops start invading into this Kashmir zone, and they do well against the little Indian armies that are stationed over there to slow them down, you know, but of course they're letting them through because they don't want to lose men. Anyways, after that, India are very weak because they just got invaded here, more here, and more here. And they're now at war with China, and the United States sign a pact with India saying if any country declares war or invades any territory that belongs to you in your constitution, India, Bharat, I will support you, join your faction, and enter your team, help you defeat the enemy. The United States of America will declare war on whoever invades you, period. It's time, baby. Everybody welcome Uncle Sam to the war. And then after the United States declare war on China and Pakistan, which is like a global crisis, NATO says if you guys step into American soil, we will join this war against you. And Japan, South Korea, the Philippines, Taiwan, Australia, New Zealand, all these countries are here to support the blue team. For China sees all of this, they're like, okay, fine, peace, Pakistan. And everything that had previously been purple is now red, including this in northern Pakistan. Northern Kashmir, POK, Pakistan occupied Kashmir. More and more Chinese soldiers cross into this Indian part, but of course India is gonna defend themselves from China, and they're not gonna stop the choke point from being cut, as well as doing a small counteroffensive in the north because they have like a separate unit over here. But anyways, this is interesting. The border stalemate's over here. The United States claim this as Indian soil. And if Pakistan goes inside of it, the United States of America, greatest country in the world, will retaliate. Oh my, what the heck? Anyways, that's not really what happens. The US just do this to show solidarity with the Indians. This is basically what India looks like, but of course the borders are gonna change all the time since Pakistan is invading and India is innovating, making it thicker and stronger and making gains and losses while still going slowly into Islamabad. And so after a lot of fighting, India are like, okay, we're kind of dying over here as morale starts going down and Kashmir gets very much destroyed by the red team, of course. They're a lot stronger than India, but they do not enter Indian territory, like prime Indian territory, yet. For the US, that's still bad, and after American troops, bless their hearts, shore up in India, land in New Delhi, what they're gonna do is help India push the Chinese and Pakistanis out of Kashmir, and so this is what they start doing. But then, after China sees this, they're like, we already annexed it into our territory, how could you do that? And then they say this is war, India, and start invading India proper. The American troops are told not to enter Chinese UN recognized borders or Pakistani UN recognized borders, except for the Kashmir area, which they can, if they want, they can do all of this if they want, and if they can, they'll just do it because that's what Trump says they could. But they cannot enter this or that zone. They are only allowed to fight in the blue areas, so yes, they cannot fight over here because it is neither part of Kashmir and the Indian troops haven't gotten to it first. You got me. Okay, so anything that Indian soldiers got to first, they can go and help. They can't go in front. They can't fight Pakistanis in their territory, but they can do it in Kashmir, which is what happens. American troops primarily go here to counterattack, and the United States of America is at war with the People's Republic of China. They also help the Indians over here, but they know that Kashmir, they're already there. There's not gonna be another time to fight for Kashmir, so they're just gonna go for it and do this. And the Americans are stronger than the Chinese. Even if they're not all there, they are stronger to this extent, but they can't do anymore. India are like, you know what? Freak it, YOLO, let's go. And they capture Islamabad. After capturing Islamabad, Pakistan decides to start negotiations because they lost their capital city and many of their officials were assassinated or put into Indian prisons, and they decide they could give India like this of Kashmir, I guess, but India are like, no way. And so with the help of the United States, India manages to regain a big part of Kashmir. They also invade this part too, which after the UN it belongs to Pakistan. But the Americans are like low-key OP, and they're thinking smart, and they're not making any mistakes, while the Chinese and Pakistani are doing okay, but they're not pushing it too hard. China over here do this. India lost their eastern part, and it's completely surrounded, and Bangladesh are like, yeah, you give us $1 trillion and we'll let you pass, because China says so. You only let them pass if they give you $1 trillion. So China are like doing really good over here. And so what happens is two great countries called Japan and South Korea, as well as the Philippines, send men over here to fight, as well as Australia, New Zealand. They supply heavily India, especially in this part. So with all of these supplies coming from all these countries, equating to about 50 billion US dollars, India managed to do something to finally push the Chinese out of this area. So they get to do like a bet like this, and like they cut off their circulation over here. But this is gonna cost them a lot because the people over here, they're trying to do their best, but they can't get access through anything. It's either huge China over here or Myanmar or Bangladesh. You'd have to go through China no matter what way you went. If you want to get here, like over here, like anywhere over here, you'd have to pass through either China or Myanmar or Bangladesh. Bangladesh, no, too expensive. It won't work. Myanmar, there's a faction over here that won't let them through, no matter this long thing. And so they turn over to Thailand, and Thailand, we will give you 20 billion US dollars if you let us go through. And after negotiating and like after saying we don't have a lot of time, Thailand are like, fine, sure, go ahead. And so this is like what Myanmar looks like. You've got this area that's hypothetically, this is not like 100% true. You've got this like reddish area, which is China friendly, which China will not allow anyone to go through it. And here you've got Thailand, and they tell Thailand to find a way for them to go. So like they pay them, but like they have to find a way for them to go. So Thailand are like, okay, it's gonna be like a super short thing within like one clan. I don't know, it's not clans, but it's like, you know, anyways. You have like all of this inside of Myanmar to go through. The rest would be an active war. Good luck. See ya. Thanks for the money. And so that's exactly what happens. Indian troops from the Indian Ocean go all the way to Thailand, and it's either that or they land at Bangkok National Airport. It's either that or they land at Bangkok International Airport. And once they're here, they start making their way north from Bangkok and go towards that area. So like this whole area is full of Indian troops going, flying, taking the boat, whatever. The people who are taking the boat end up doing this trail. Once you're here, you go straight up into this line, and once they're there, it's war, baby. And so it feels like it takes a really long time, but it really doesn't. And so Indian troops go both sides and manage to capture this back. And China witnessed this big fail from them and defeat from the Indians. Understand what's happening with Thailand. So they go to Thailand and are like, either you stop this and give India back the 20 billion or give us the 20 billion. Either we declare war on you and we invade you. And so Thailand are like, India, we already spent that money. You gave it to us. We helped you. Now China is threatening us. You'd have to do something. And so big meeting between Japan, South Korea, the Philippines, eventually I think Taiwan, Australia, New Zealand, and of course the United States and India. And they discuss on what to do, because Thailand over here, they don't have the money. Either we give them money to give China, or we like defend them in case of a war. And like they all feel like, you know what, maybe the Philippines should send their army over, because this is what the Philippine Navy looks like. It's over here in the South China Sea, like countering the Chinese who claim like these areas. So like it's, you know, so the Philippines are here, might as well just do this. And so that's what they do with the help of Japan, but not too much. And like this is like a huge block over here of defense from Japan to South Korea to Taiwan to the Philippines, and over here it's something different. And it all connects to India over here. And oh yeah. And let's show the red team navy. Of course, we've got all these Chinese areas over here and this Burmese faction, evil faction that I just made up, but it probably exists because of this civil war that's going on. And of course, the Pakistani navy. So the blue team is a lot strong naval wise, but you know, many of these countries are here to defend Thailand, and Thailand goes to war with China. By the way, quick disclaimer, guys, this is not supposed to be a realistic scenario. It's mainly for fun, so no reason to get offended or triggered by any of this. Just a disclaimer, okay? Anyways, China does something to Laos, which gets them on their team, and bam, Laos versus Thailand. Never happened before. But like Laos and Thailand won't do anything to each other because it's just mainly China trying to do something, but all these countries are defending it and China doesn't have enough since most of their troops are over here. And Islamabad is captured, guys. And Pakistan is hurting. A lot of areas get captured because Pakistan like aren't strong at all. They're struggling mostly, and so a lot of these areas are gonna be pushed out easily. I mean, easily, you know. And China is just holding on to their claims after more and more moving troops through Myanmar to cross and invade, like push China back out into this area, which is like a lot more complicated for the Indians to do this than this, but they still have it, and this area is like mostly unprotected, like by the Chinese, and so yeah, but they're gonna like let go more or less of this area. But Thailand did not want to give away the 20 billion, and India would not like give the 20 billion to Thailand if they just stopped granting them access, and Thailand would not like do what they were forced to. So here's our situation. China are gonna do something and invade Myanmar, because why not, you know? And so they're a lot stronger here because there's no one, and how can you not invade us, right? And they're like very strong over here, and they actually get to do something in India. They cross, and like it works for a while, but it's not strong, and India like pushes them far back a lot. And anyways, India are like, why is China still winning? Thinking about Japan and South Korea doing something here, but of course not. The United States send more troops, and instead of doing anything, it's like straight inside Pakistan. They're like, you don't want to stop this war? We're gonna do it for you. We're gonna start invading. And they're smart about it, invading all these important southern cities, coastal cities, and making their way north. And together with India, they make a really big encirclement here, and so many soldiers die, but they're mostly over here, so it doesn't do a lot to Pakistan, but it is really big. This area is like the size of Switzerland. The Americans are well trained for this, as well as Indians over here helping them. And so when the Pakistanis see this, they're like, okay, China, we need to stop this. And if China didn't even get involved, like Pakistan and India would have solved things, Pakistan says. So Pakistan like do their best to push out because it wasn't that like dense of soldiers, but this is what happens. And Pakistan and China are like repeatedly discussing, but Pakistan are like, okay, like China's not listening, so they go out and like listen to peace talks, and here is a peace talk from India. And so here is the map that India proposes. They say that they will annex this area that is part of Kashmir that they have managed to occupy, and China will have to give them back all of this land, plus all of this land for sure, without any doubt. Pakistan would also give India this land of Kashmir, and after that, this is a weird India without these areas. After that, discussions could be made with China to get these areas and to like choose what happens to them, you know. But for now, Pakistan can't do anything really because, well, first off, this red land over there, do you think anyone's giving that to India? No, I don't think so. So yeah, it's not gonna get that close for now, but Pakistan will not do anything stupid for now. So they will just sit it out and try their best to defend themselves, and Kashmir too, because it's a really important part of it. Slowly, with the help of their allies, including Israel, India are going to be able to move some troops into this Kashmir area too in the north, and they're excited about that because it's important. And they make this big spearhead that works to cut Pakistan from China. Pakistan is now 100% split from China, and the only ways they could go through are Central Asia, eventually Russia, but Russia likes India, so Kazakhstan don't like Pakistan. Like maybe, I think Tajikistan would like them, but they'd have to go through Afghanistan, or Iran, then Turkmenistan, then Uzbekistan, then Tajikistan. Or is it Tajikistan or Kyrgyzstan? I don't know. Well, one of them likes them, and So it's maybe they could also do bam. Cut that off. Maybe they could also do bam, bam, bam. Or if it's Tajikistan, it would be bam, bam to get to China. Or if it's one of these and Afghanistan don't allow them, it would be Iran. Then ask Turkmenistan. Then ask Uzbekistan. Then go through whichever one allows. And yeah, so I guess if Afghanistan allowed them to like do stuff with China. But for now, this is a huge blow to Pakistan, and Pakistan have very low morale, and India decide to do something. They're gonna invade China, and they know that this isn't a joke, but they decide that they're gonna do it and that they have to. So they go through this area that China has always wanted for no particular reason whatsoever, and they get it back with like a lot of soldiers, and then it's time they send a lot of soldiers into Tibet. And the people like here have nothing to do with, like, I guess the soldiers are coming from all these areas over here, maybe probably by plane or by train or by road, I don't know, whatever. But a huge push is made over here in Tibet, and they're gonna leave it till here, and China surprisingly don't do anything about it, which is pretty unusual for China. But they focus on like a pointless invasion of Myanmar, I guess, to cut India's access from itself through Thailand, which like they do, like they touch the border and they invade this area, and Thailand are scared now, but they have protection. And even though Thailand gets lightly invaded through the north, it tries to strike a deal with China and India, and like they say, we're gonna be neutral from now on, we're gonna stop like allowing passage, and we're gonna give you like $1 billion. And China are like, you know what, fine. And so Thailand is now free of conflict, and they don't have to go through anything anymore. Yay! And Laos like just leave the war because like nothing to do anymore. But China, of course, they're gonna continue their really important invasion of Myanmar, because like you gotta finish what you started, huh? And so yeah, with the help of these like pro-China rebels, Myanmar gets like destroyed, and they go for a peace treaty. And in this peace treaty, they annex all of these areas north of the top of the right part of the line, and the area south gets given to that evil Chinese faction, I guess. Then India are like surrounded, I guess, on the western side, northern side, and eastern side by China and Pakistan and puppets. I guess like western side, northern side, northeastern side, because like there's a difference between here, here, and here. More between like this area with that area. So like, and like the deep east. So like little problem, huh? But they're not strong yet. So India like are okay. A lot of people, like out of these 1.4 billion, maybe 0.1 billion, like 100 million of people. Yeah, no, not 100 million, like 50 million people get affected by any way, like even mental. Nothing, like, you know. Anyways, Pakistan go through another terrible invasion from the US over here that almost choked them off of their last bit of coast over here in the west, which would be horrible for them because China could still do this or this, yeah. Anyways, but if their coast was choked off, I guess China would have to go through Iran. I don't know, but it would be a lot easier if this didn't get lost. But so Pakistan are like, okay, we're about to lose our coastline, so you know what, peace. So they go to Washington DC, oh lord, and they ask for peace terms, and the US like draft up peace terms. It would be this. And so here's the peace treaty that they have drafted up. Pakistan and India, forget all these disputes over here, forget about China's existence. This would be like the peace treaty with India. First off, India would like go back in all of these light blue areas, and these green areas are all areas that Pakistan cannot militarize, and they'd have to hand over all of these like areas here that over here that India did not invade, and these areas that India did invade, they'd have to hand it all over to India for them to annex. And this area would be a NATO-controlled, UN-controlled peacekeeping zone. I guess it's like peacekeeping like this, because I don't know, I'm not sure what's gonna happen over here. And so Pakistan are like, okay, we would, but this is a bit extreme. So they send, like, instead of like claiming it and saying, okay, we read it, they haven't read it. They say they didn't read it yet, and they say that they are going to propose something else to the United States. And so after many proposals from Pakistan and many vetoes from India and from Washington DC and many negotiations, and so here's the plan they come up with. India get all of this land for themselves. This would be Indian land, core Indian land, and all these green areas would be on military territories within Pakistan, and India would have to get out of these light blue areas. But essentially, this is all still Pakistan. Pakistan just loses Kashmir and the southern part over here to the US, where Uncle Sam will be living for his vacation in July. Let Uncle Sam enjoy. So Pakistan accept it, and China are left there with Pakistan free from warfare, rebuilding. And the United States of America are just here. If you want to say hi, just come over, don't be shy. And India look like this now, and Pakistan stopped their plane to Kashmir. After negotiations and stuff, China agreed to a ceasefire with India. India would give them this back, and India would give them neutrality, and they're gonna have to work together, especially through BRICS. China would have to give India back what they invaded and occupy throughout the war, except if India would want to give it to them, anything to them. But India end up just keeping this, and China won't have to give India Kashmir. The reason China was this nice, doesn't seem like they're too nice, but the reason they're this kind and don't destroy India, because first India also can destroy China. Just one here, one here, one here, bam, and one here first, and bam, no more Chinese people. But if China do one here, one here, one here, one here, one here, I'm not gonna say the word, guys. Forget it. Anyways, no nukes used. China could annihilate India. India could annihilate China. They don't want to fight together. They're just gonna take back what they've always recognized was theirs and call it a day. And China and India would start working together to become better allies. And peace is signed between India and China, and nothing is going to they're guaranteed peace for 50 years, and they're gonna communicate if anything is wrong. Pakistan just, yeah, this is theirs. It's not anything special. We just can't militarize it. So maybe I should erase the black line instead of the light white, the light red. But they get to militarize all of this. All of that is free for them to militarize. This is the Donald Trump Riviera that they always wanted to do, and here it is in Pakistan. Anyways, guys, India wins. They get Kashmir for themselves. Pakistan are crippled, but building back up. China and India are gonna strive to be closer, and Pakistan is going to as well. In real life, I think those shiny green things would be used. But anyways, guys, I hope that you guys enjoyed this scenario. It was really fun for me to make. I love y'all so much, and I'll see you all in the next one. Bye.